Every night for almost 2 years now, we've shared stories of the pandemic and how it's affecting lives all across the globe and right here in our own community. And while I've shared your stories, my family has watched someone we love fight this dreaded disease. Like so many of you, I've had family members who waited to get vaccinated. And tonight I'll introduce you to my cousin Brad, as COVID almost killed him.
Adorable.
If pictures tell you anything, it's clear to see family has always been important to my cousin Brad Moss. We have plenty of photos together, but we share a favorite.
Yeah, you know, you were, 2 years old maybe at the time or something. I think I was in on leave. You know, that's one of my favorite pictures, you know, because you were cute, you know, and I was a little skinnier back then, so that was nice. But
growing up in the Chicago suburbs, our family homes are only about 5 minutes apart.
And your dad is kind of like, not just my uncle, but he's like an older brother to me, you know, because we're somewhat close in age, not too close, but yeah, so that's we're all really close.
And
yeah.
I know Kevin and I even look at you and your siblings as our older siblings too.
At 47 years old, Brad is a Navy veteran, a brother, husband, and father of 2 teenage boys.
14 regular season games. 30
Okay, guys, nobody cares.
You only play 11 regular games, Eddie.
We played 14.
You only play 11.
That's pretty normal. So to see him do that, yeah, while I can only take so much of it, it is kind of fun to watch here for the first couple minutes.
It's these little moments now that mean so much, all signs of getting back to normal after a life-changing summer.
Good girl. Now, I was always a big family guy. You guys know that. But man, the thought that I might not be able to be with them anymore really kind of sunk in at certain points.
13-year-old Danny and 16-year-old Eddie are both great athletes. Back in July, Danny had a baseball tournament in Myrtle Beach.
Came back, and Amy developed symptoms first, and me the day or two after her. At that point, you know, 4 or 5 days on the couch for both of us, and Amy gradually got better, and I didn't.
After passing out, he was taken to Silver Cross Hospital with COVID pneumonia.
One of the paramedics actually talked to me, saying that everything was going to be all right and all that. So he said, I know he's there for you all the time, but now it's your time to be here for him. So
I really thought we were going to the emergency room to get an IV, and he just needed to hydrate. And then, you know, we're sitting in the ICU, and they're like, he's really sick.
But no one could predict how sick. For the next 4 months, he fought internal bleeding, kidney failure, blood clots, the possibility of losing his leg, and his life.
Doctors recommended I go on the ventilator for a couple of days. And I was like, I'd heard all the stories. If you go on the ventilator, you're not going to make it off. And they're like, well, you're young, you're in decent shape. And she's like, she said it. She's like, you either go on the ventilator or you die.
It was also scary news for his 2 boys who need their dad.
I'm like, did you hear that Dad went on the vent? And he goes, yeah. He goes, it's just for 2 days. I'm like, yeah, but people don't usually come off it.
A couple of days turned into 23.
I would come in every day, and I would, you know, take a deep breath and be like, all right, what am I going to walk into today, you know?
What she did during that time, that was pretty unbelievable, you know? You know, not just taking care of me, but taking care of them. So.
And the community rallied as well. Danny's football league, the Tinley Park Bulldogs, hosted a prayer vigil and a T-shirt drive raising thousands.
all of my friends in the community wearing the shirts, showing the support and everything, it was really great.
Amazingly, the day before Brad's 47th birthday, he no longer needed the ventilator, and the hospital staff had a special surprise.
I was in the school parking lot, and my mom calls me, and she's like, you can come see your dad. So I sprinted home, or I drove as fast as I could home. What? Sorry.
For the first time in over 3 months, the boys were able to see their dad.
We played blackjack, and I would show him his cards, and I would look at them before, and I would cheat when we were playing.
And just seeing him was amazing. He obviously teared up, and I think that installed a lot of hope in him, too, to keep on pushing on.
I was still so weak, and I think even talking was a struggle at that point. But it didn't matter, you know. I spent the day with all three of them.
It was the inspiration Brad needed when he faced yet another setback.
I just had this pain in my stomach that kept me doubled over in the dark in my bed all day. Do a CAT scan, what is it? You know, well, your gallbladder needs to be removed. Okay, doc, can we do that? No, because he didn't want to, you know, put me through that again, because he would say it. The doctor was up front. It's like, I don't think you make it off the ventilator again.
You can do
Try to
it.
hold your head up. Look up while you do it. There you go.
It was devastating news for Brad, who was making progress in therapy.
He was completely dependent with every mobility task that you and I take for granted on a daily basis. Simple tasks as rolling in bed to sitting at the edge of the bed.
He credits his healthcare workers for getting him through that day, especially a moment with his occupational therapist.
A moment I'll never forget was she just kind of sat there next to me on the bed for a minute, just held my hand, you know, and I needed that at the time.
As frustrated as he was, I couldn't even imagine, because I was frustrated. You know, I'm like, how much more can this man endure? You know, but
Go right ahead.
sometimes you just need to be present in the moment, accept the fact that this is what it is, have a good cry, and then pick yourself up. And that's what we did that day.
And he was ready to go home. Brad says after that day, it was like he was a new man.
I went into a different mode. I put my phone in my pocket. I put my playlist on, you know.
Step by step, Brad put in the work. And finally, after nearly 4 months in the hospital, it was time to go home.
I'm just sitting in my room doing this. And the 5 nurses from the respiratory group just come in and wish me luck. Didn't want to take a picture. And to be honest, I only recognized 2 of them because they have their masks on and stuff. But you know, 3 of them were from helped me out while I was ventilated.
Thank you so much.
They needed me to make this recovery as much as I needed them to help me through the recovery.
Yeah, they needed some good news.
Because
Results for their hard work.
With COVID and, you know, all the pressures that we're under and all the strain, being able to watch somebody like that make the kind of gains that he did and be able to go home just makes our jobs, makes us appreciate what we're doing every day. It makes it worthwhile.
He has made profound amounts of gains in his physical mobility, and I know that's translated to him to have a better quality of life with his boys and his wife and his family.
And just this past weekend, our family saw that as well, as we watched Brad walk on his very own for the first time.
Hey there. What's up, Mary? How you doing? Good, how are you? How are you? Good to see you. Don't worry if my pants fall down there. You got news.
Yeah, he lost about 55 pounds from it. Since this experience, Amy and the boys have been vaccinated, and now that Brad keeps on improving, he is partially vaccinated. And Terry, Amy and Brad say because of this experience, they've had the opportunity to speak with top infectious disease experts, and they all recommend getting vaccinated.
Yeah, and you know, Lauren, you and I have talked about Brad every day for the past 4 months, and I think it's important for people to know that Brad was a healthy 47-year-old with no underlying health conditions.
Nothing at all. And I mean, we've all been trying to understand COVID, right? We've been talking about it for almost 2 years now. A lot of it doesn't make sense. Some people get really sick, other people don't. Amy, his wife, barely had any symptoms, and COVID just attacked his body. So I think it's so important. You don't know how it will infect you and how it will affect your body at all. So it's scary.
Well, wonderful job putting this story together. And the important thing is here is that by telling his story, hopefully he can save people from going through the same thing that he had to go through.
That's the hope, yeah.
All right.
That is.
Well,